Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to talk you through this little mouse that I've drawn in color pencil, and we're going to go in a nice time lapse here. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of what I did, and yeah, maybe you might pick some up for yourself. I hope you enjoy. So this is a tutorial in my art academy, which you could find in timelapse.com, this and many other tutorials. So what you saw back there was an indenting tool, and I indented the paper, which means that I pushed the paper down into itself, which allows me to color in that area without coloring in the indent that I created. So indenting has been my favorite way to create whiskers on mice, cats, dogs, and any other sort of animal in there. So really easy to do, and kind of like once you buy the indenting tool, you kind of have it forever. One thing with indenting tools is you do need to use a thick paper here. So I am using a Bristol vellum. I think it's like a 300 gram or something thicker. If you're using a regular drawing pad of paper like 60 pound or 80 pound paper, it's not going to indent very well. So you need that nice thick paper to indent and get that nice effect. And then here you can see I already put down some base layers of the bright yellow and orange, and then on top I'm putting more of these earthy tones, and those bright colors underneath are going to make my mouse pop. The mouse is a rather bright the fur does have bright undertones, and then like the top has like burnt siennas and browns and blacks, so it does make it kind of nice to get in those bright colors. One tip I want to say is for beginners or intermediate alike, is that you don't want to be scared to use those bright undertones. I'm not going for a bright yellow or orange mouse here. That's not going to be like the finished product here. We want it to look like a realistic mouse. So yeah, those bright undertones, and that's what I'm going to use a lot of the time. Is like my bright colors are going to be for the base, and that's just to get that pop. A lot of artists will use those bright colors for their base color and then go in with the muted earthy tones on top. And now you can see me going into the ears here, and I'm creating like the again bright colors underneath. I love the burnt sienna. It's probably one of my favorite colors, and I use it oftentimes from the polychromos. They have just solid colors. One thing I love about the polychromos, and they're not sponsoring me here, so I'm just kind of speaking freely about them, is that they have a stronger oil to wax base ratio in their pigments, so they keep their points really nice and sharp. And I'm always trying to get my students, if they're just starting off with me, to invest in a set of polychromos, because those pencils, they're going to last you a long time, especially if you don't sharpen them. One way to save your pencils, especially if you invest in some nice expensive ones, is to not sharpen them so much. With eyes, and with these eyes that I did with the mouse, I did sharpen my pencils. It's the only time I really like to sharpen my pencils, but that sharpening constantly will eat up your pencils, and I know it's a lot of fun to draw with nice sharp pencils, but try to avoid sharpening your pencils if you can. Here I also use the slice tool, and this helps me get nice sharp details. When you use the slice tool, you do want to have a nice base of lights underneath your darks, so you have something to scrape away too, because if you just put down a bunch of dark pigments on top of your white paper or whatever color paper you're using, if you use tan tone or gray tone or even black, you want something that base color that you want to scrape down to, so you want that to be your first color as your base layer, and then go on top with your darker tones or even lighter tones, and then use that slice tool. That I feel like the slice technique I can talk all day about, and that is something that you definitely will pick up in my tutorials. They're full-length, real-time tutorials, closed captions in French and English. Yep, love doing it in French. And then what else can I say? I'm using the white to burnish a lot here, and I love working in layers. I'll definitely revisit a lot of colors here. So I think to get that realistic fur texture, you can really start off with one color, move on to different colors, but then revisit that color again and you get that nice soft texture. And there's many ways to accomplish this, and this is like one of the techniques, is allow yourself to revisit things. And this is very meditative and very relaxing to use color pencils in this way. At least it is for me. I could talk all day and all night about all the techniques I did here, but our video isn't that long, so now I'm moving into the background. So here I've used pan pastels. That's going to be a soft pastel in a pan form, and that is the company name is Pan Pastel. Again, they're not paying me, and just love using their product. So here I'm using some purple in the background, using some earthy tones, and it comes with this like little it's like, it kind of reminds me of makeup, I guess, the way you might apply it. I also don't wear makeup, so if you do wear makeup, you're like, what are you talking about? But you do kind of brush it on here, and you'll notice with the indenting, you're going to really see the indenting of the whiskers here. That technique really shines through. So we're going to get that white whiskers because that paper isn't going to catch the pan pastels as much. But here I'm just really going in a circular motion, getting the background in there. The background ended up being really, really strong. I think it turned out pretty well, but I think I would have softened it to make the mouse kind of pop out a little bit more. But overall, I think I really captured like that softness and furriness of the mouse. I really like that. And this was a lot of fun to do. I really like to use pan pastels for the background. They're a lot of fun to use. It's not like I'm using them for, kind of quickie, but they do go quick. They cover a lot of ground all at once. And I think for me, I really want to bring the focus into the mouse itself, because I do, my focus is portraits. So with portraits, you really want the focus to be on the portrait subject and not so much the background. So I'm keeping it fuzzy. Sometimes I don't even do backgrounds. You may notice on my other time lapses on this channel, I'll keep the background white. And it's just like completely up to each individual in the style. Like, do you want to do the background? Do you not? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And in this case, it was really fun to do that. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to do. Really enjoyed it. And thanks so much for joining me in this time lapse. Hopefully you picked up a few tips and tricks. It definitely was a quickie. And if you're wanting more information, definitely go again to my website, timelapse.com. I do have the Tai Blue Art Academy. It should be open, I believe. And that's where you'll find this tutorial and more. All right, thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next time lapse. And have a wonderful day. Bye.